Welcome back to Come On in the Kitchen, aka Let's Get Cooking. I'm your host Rashida, and on today's video, I'm going to show you how to make some chicken and dumplings. I know you're thinking, does anybody make those anymore? But hey, today that's what I'm making. I'm trying out this recipe that I saw, and my daughter said she wanted chicken and dumplings, so I'm going to try to make them. Come on in the kitchen, put your apron on, and let's get ready to cook. Let's get started. First, let me talk about some of the ingredients I'm going to use in this chicken and dumplings recipe. As you can see, I have some celery that I'm about to chop up. I'm going to use some of this celery. I'm also using some carrots, plenty of chicken broth or chicken stock. You definitely want a good quality. I'm going to use some chicken. I'm using dark meat, so I'm using chicken legs. I think dark meat is better when you're making soups and things like that. I cut my celery into big chunks because right now I'm preparing to make the stock, the broth for the chicken and dumplings. Now I'm going to go ahead and chop up my carrots. I have baby carrots on hand, so I'm going to use those. If not, 3 regular big carrot stalks would work. So I'm just going to go ahead and roughly chop these. Once again, they're going into the stock, so they don't need to be diced any particular way, just some big chunks, and they're going to boil to go ahead and add the flavor into the stock for our dumplings. Just go ahead and add those to the pot. I'm going to rinse off my celery before I add it to the pot. A few more carrots, since they're baby carrots, I'm using quite a few extra. I'm going to go ahead and rough chop my onion into just big chunks. That's also going into the stock. So these are all the flavorings that are going into the stock to get that flavor that you like in chicken and dumplings or chicken noodle soup or anything to that nature. I'm adding my onions to the pot along with the carrots. And then once I rinse off the celery, it's going to go in. Then to that, I will be adding my chicken broths. Now that I have my 3 main vegetables in the pot, I'm adding my chicken broth or chicken stock, whichever you prefer. And I'm using 8 cups, so I'm using quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and pour that in. And I'm also going to add the chicken. The chicken is raw. I'm going to add in 8 to 12 chicken legs, which is about 2.5 pounds of chicken legs. And that's going to cook. So I'm going to cook that for 45 minutes. So I'm making the stock. The stock consists of the flavors from the onion, the garlic, the celery. You didn't see me put the garlic in, but garlic is in there. The onion, carrots, celery, garlic, and then the chicken. So that's going to give us the robust chicken flavor that is going to go into the dumplings. Once everything is in a pot, I'm going to bring it up to a boil, then simmer it and place the top on and just let it continue to cook for, once again, about 45 minutes. And I will be adding some salt and pepper. Gonna need a good amount of salt to bring out some of those natural flavors, and pepper for seasoning.
A faded photograph feels like 100 years ago.
As I'm prepping my chicken, here's a question for the comments. What do you prefer? Do you like chicken and noodle soup? Do you like chicken and rice? Do you like chicken and noodles or chicken and dumplings? Do you have a preference? Please leave it in the comments below. I remember when I was younger, my mom used to make chicken and noodles. I have really never met anyone since then that made it, but it was good. She would just take some chicken and some egg noodles and put some seasoning in them, boil them together, and it was just like a great quick meal. So now that my stock is boiling, I'm going to let it boil. I'm going to get ready to turn it down and simmer it. And we want these chicken legs to cook thoroughly. And then I'm just going to take the meat off the bone once it's finished and use that stock for the dumplings. So my answer is I like chicken and noodle soup the best. I like chicken and dumplings, but for both of them, I kind of have to be in the mood for them. So I tend to like them during the fall, winter seasons. Stews and things that's just like a colder weather type of meal or dish. But since my daughter requested it, I decided to try this tasty looking recipe. So I'll let you know how it turns out. Okay, our stock has finished cooking, and now this is how it should look. And from here, I'm just gonna go ahead and let it cool, let the chicken cool, and take it off the bones and extract the vegetables, the big pieces of the vegetables, on out the pot. So now I'm on to the fun part of making the dumplings. Now dumplings can be made probably 100 different ways, but I'm just going with the standard flour, shortening, a little bit of baking powder, milk combination. Very simple, probably similar to making a biscuit. So right now I am mixing the shortening in with the flour and baking powder. It's 1 3/4 cup of flour, some baking powder, a little bit of salt, a third cup of shortening. I dice that up, put it in there, and I'm using my pastry mixer to blend it all up. And then once I get this crumbled, then I'm gonna go ahead and start adding a little bit of milk at a time, a little at a time, not all at once. And as it forms into a ball, then I'm gonna take it, roll it into a ball, and then go from there.
A faded photograph feels like 100 years ago. Life was easy then, or is it just the way the mind works? We look so bold, like the winners of the league. Don't you know we had it all those summer days? I wonder where you are and if life is good to you. Have you kept your copy from the photo booth that day? Time is a thief.
Woo, I'm done with that process. I have finally formed my dough into a ball and now ready for the next step, and that's to roll it out. I'm going to put some flour on a non-stick surface, roll it out till it's about a 1/2 inch thick, and then I'm going to cut my dough into strips so that I can get ready to make the dumplings. Here I go. Basically rolling this out like if I were doing a pie dough. The dumpling process is a little bit labor intensive, but it is definitely worth the wait. It's worth the effort. Dumplings are versatile. There are some recipes that use biscuits. There's some recipes that use Bisquick. Basically, what a dumpling in is like a reverse chicken pot pie to me. Except you're just taking your dough, you're taking your crust, and you're putting it into chicken and vegetable mixture. So you're just adding the dumpling into the chicken mixture and then cooking it on top of the stove as opposed to the oven. So it's like a reverse pot pie in some ways, leaving out some of the ingredients that will go into a pot pie, but still very similar. Okay, so I'm cutting my slits for my dumplings right now. And those are the perfect size squares. At this point, it is simple. Once these are done being cut, I'm going to just take them and drop them into the mixture. Okay, now I'm into the home stretch. I'm adding my dumplings back into the pot. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this up to a gentle boil, then reduce it, let them cook for about 10 minutes, and then go ahead and add the shredded chicken back into the pot. Cook for about 5 more minutes, and then add a couple tablespoons of cornstarch mixture just to thicken it up to my liking, and make sure it's seasoned well. And then that is it. The chicken and dumplings will be complete. Now, like I said, this was a recipe that I tried. Um, there were a couple things at the end that I felt that I would add. So once we get near the end, then I'll offer the suggestions that I will add just to enhance the flavor and consistency a little bit more. It was good, but we need to make it great. Okay, so there our dumplings are gently boiling, and you see that they have doubled in size. So they went in about a half an inch, but now they're probably at least an inch thick because they're absorbing that moisture. And now the chicken's been added back into the pot, so everything is incorporated. I left a couple carrots in there, and our chicken and dumplings is almost ready to be served. This recipe turned out very good, very hearty, very flavorful. So I'm glad that I did make it. I would add a little bit of chicken bouillon for a stronger chicken flavor the next time. And I will also season the flour for the dumplings, probably with a little bit more salt, pepper, and herbs just to give it some more flavor. I would also take out a half a cup of the chicken broth and add in a half a cup of heavy cream just to make it a bit more creamier. But overall, this was a complete success. I will make it again. This was chicken and dumplings for the win. I haven't made this in years, but definitely gonna bring this into my dinner rotation. Thanks for watching. Thanks for cooking with me. Thanks for coming in the kitchen. And until next time, you have a blessed day and a blessed week. Take care.